Tourism is a double-edged sword. It can provide a much-needed boost to economies and local businesses, but it can also introduce problems like overcrowding, rising crime rates, and racism. In 2024, residents of Barcelona protested against mass tourism by shooting travelers with water guns. Why? They claimed that tourists had made the city unlivable. If the clips in this video are anything to go by, you can understand why some people want to stop tourism in their hometowns altogether. Here are some of the worst tourists ever caught on camera. Iceland is home to 32 active volcanoes. Bearing in mind that lava flows, airborne ash and noxious fumes can spread 100 miles or more. These tours were much too close for comfort.
What is going on?
You just lost it. Get out.
Pretty sure that wasn't supposed to happen.
There's a rope right in the cockpit. Where? Right in the swimming buoy, right in the front. There's a line in the front of the boat.
These tours took a wrong turn while visiting Hawaii and ended up driving straight into the water. Perhaps they should have trusted their eyes rather than blindly following the sat-nav.
Sean, yeah, we need somebody to pull on this fucking thing. All right, we're coming over. Okay, just Sean, where's the end of this? Ron, can you pass me my mask on that? On my pins over there at the thing.
Just let me know if I can help in any capacities.
You're gonna need a long one there, I think.
Hey, you just tied up the cleat and wait for
You said, there's another line right here.
want to tie this to the other cleat? The other axle?
We got it. There she is. You can stand up. You can stand up. You can stand up.
Luckily, all of the passengers managed to escape before the car sank to the bottom. If it's a rental car, I doubt they'll be getting their deposit back.
You have the time. Aldwin!
You fell down.
Aldwin! Hold you.
Grab me. No, grab with your hand. Hand. Somebody come on. Hold tight.
Aldwin!
Hold tight.
Can we hold him too? Can you hold him too?
Oh, here. Get it here. Here. I need here. No, Link. Come on, somebody, please. Here.
Staying in Hawaii, one traveler needed to be rescued after jumping a fence to get a better view of a waterfall. Clearly in a panic due to his own dumb decision, he begs for someone to pull him from the cliff's edge, all the while hanging on for dear life.
Here, grab me. Come on.
Maybe next time he'll stay behind the fence, which is there for a very good reason.
Coming down. Mine.
When visiting London, you must always make way for the Queen's or King's guards. The guy learned that the hard way. Remember, they're there to do a job, not just to take part in your photo shoot.
Bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Just got a typo. Dude, come on. What are you doing?
Train etiquette is taken very seriously in Japan. When a foreigner made a scene by being loud and obnoxious, a local man took offense and tried physically dragging the tourist off the train.
English? Why are you in Poland?
Why are you filming me?
Because I'm from America, and in America, so in America, there's too many of you guys here. So why are you in Poland? Why are you here? Do you think that you just can invade Poland? You have your own country. How come you don't go back to your own country? Why don't you go back to your own country? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why don't you go back to India?
The level of stupidity and hypocrisy in this next clip is off the charts. An American man visiting Poland decided to question a man based on his looks, asking why he was invading Poland and telling him to go back to his own country. He assumes the man is from India and bothers him with endless dumb questions while being incredibly rude and racist.
I can film you. This is my country. I'm European, and Europeans want to know why you think you have the right to invade our country. Why are your people invading our homelands? You have India. Why are you coming to the white man's land to take off from our hard work? Why don't you build your own country? Why don't you build your own country? Why are you being a parasite? Do you think it's okay for you to invade Europe? You're genociding our race. You're an invader. You're an invader. You're an invader. Go home, invader. Go home. This guy is up Europe, and he should be called out that your people are ruining Europe. Poland for Polish only. You're not Polish. You're not Polish. No, you're not Polish. Look at me. Look at me. You're an invader. Invader, go home.
The harasser fails to see the irony in telling the other man that Poland is for Polish people only, despite speaking English in an American accent. Please, don't be like this guy or you'll be the unwanted one. Pattaya in Thailand is a hotbed of tourist chaos. In 2023, an Italian man was filmed throwing items from his hotel balcony, including a refrigerator, causing thousands of dollars in damages.
No people hit you. Okay, people hit you.
When police raided the apartment, they found drugs and alcohol, which were likely the cause of the man's destructive outburst. Well, at least he'll have plenty of time to think about his actions in an overcrowded Thai prison cell, which is not somewhere you want to end up. This woman had zero self-awareness while visiting a Holocaust memorial site in Berlin, believing it was a good place to practice her yoga and get a picture for her Instagram.
You take the box out.
This is not mine. I can get it.
Vai, filho da...
Stealing in any country is a crime. But when this German tourist thought he could get away with stealing surfboards in Portugal, he was delivered a swift dose of Portuguese justice to the face. Ouch. The Trevi Fountain in Rome is more than 260 years old and is visited by more than 10 million people each year. Most tourists are respectful of the site and simply want to view its beauty. Then there's this woman. What made her think that she could trample all over the monument without any repercussions is beyond any sane person's understanding. Yet, she did it anyway and was quickly escorted out of the area because she could no longer be trusted. Nara Park in Japan is another place brimming with beauty where the deer roam free and bow to both locals and tourists. Sadly, not everyone is as respectful or as clean as the deer. When a Chinese tourist threw their litter on the ground, an angry local confronted them and tried to get them to take it back. Unashamedly, the litter bug refused to accept the responsibility or take back the trash.
No. No じゃねえ。ゴミ拾えよ。No. No じゃねえ。No. お前やろ。No. ゴミ捨てただろうが。捨てろよ。持って帰れよ。分かったか。おい。ゴミ捨てろや。分かったか。
No wonder the local is infuriated. this is why we can't have nice things. Amsterdam is known for its laid-back atmosphere and iconic canal system. It's also a place where people go to relax and indulge in certain vices that are openly available. This tourist appears to have indulged a little too much and is perhaps too relaxed, even when speaking to the local police. He even bends over backwards to accommodate them. Even though he might be having the time of his life, it's not the vibe or culture that the Amsterdam Tourism Board is trying to encourage. Sometimes what seems like a fun photo opportunity might end up costing you dearly. These German tourists paid the price for posing with a 150-year-old statue in Italy when it toppled over and was smashed to pieces. Way to ruin it for the rest of us. It's not just the people or monuments you need to respect while on holiday. The local wildlife should be respected too. You can feed monkeys in Bali, where allowed, but don't try tapping them on the head like this woman did. The water at the Kiyomizu Dera Temple in Japan is believed to be sacred. What better way to offend the gods than using that sacred water to fill up a cheap water bottle? I mean, come on, really? Two tourists, one from Britain and the other from Canada, were caught on CCTV spray painting the wall of an 800-year-old heritage site in Chiang Mai, Thailand in 2018. Admitting that they were a little bit drunk at the time, they faced up to 10 years in prison if found guilty, as well as fines of up to $40,000. They were taken back to the scene of the crime by police to point out their handiwork, which stupidly identified them as Scouser Lee, Scouser being the term for someone from Liverpool, England, and B, referring to Lee Furlong and Brittany Schneider, respectively. Fortunately for them, the 23-year-olds were spared jail time and were instead forced to pay 200,000 Thai baht, around $6,000. The Colosseum in Rome, Italy is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Built over 1900 years ago, you have to wonder what kind of moron would carve his name in the ancient walls in 2023. Well, Ivan Dimitrov, a 27-year-old from England, did. Claiming he was unaware of the monument's age, he faces a fine of up to 15,000 euros and 5 years in jail. Sadly, he was not the first tourist to deface the Colosseum and probably won't be the last.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Кого делаете вы?
А?
Кого делаете?
В смысле кого?
Зачем рисуете?
Оставляем память
Какую память?
в истории
Для кого?
для поколений.
Для какого поколения? Вы что, ребят, ну головой-то думаете? Вы что делаете?
In 2021, tourists were caught creating memories in the city of Novosibirsk, Russia, by spray painting some rocks. They attempted to defend their actions, saying, in Russian, that there is graffiti everywhere.
Откуда приехали вы? Я понимаю, везде много написано, но это делают дебилы. Вы же не такие люди. Вот если вот вы представьте, да, вот представьте. Я алтаец, да? Я родился, я вырос. Это мой дом, это мои стены. Я приехал к вам домой и разрисовал все ваши обои дорогущие. Вам будет приятно?
Нет.
However, the cameraman explains that he was born and bred in the city, asking them to imagine him coming to their home and destroying their expensive wallpaper. You wouldn't like that, would you? he asks, to which the vandals agree. He then explains how resident activists use their own money and resources to clean up the graffiti in the city, so their efforts are pointless anyway.
То же самое и для нас. Недавно, весной, в начале лета, активисты за средства жителей Республики Алтай собирали деньги и все скалы очищали. Это тяжелый очень труд.
Remember, unless you're Banksy, you're just wasting everyone's time and money while making the place look bad.
Security, hello, KK. KK.
Come here. You hate Jesus? You hate yourself? You hate Jesus? You hate yourself? You hate me? You disgrace Jesus? Huh? Talk.
Francis, wacha kupige.
Talk. Talk. Come on. Come on. You open my kill you again.
In 2018, a drunk American tourist was filmed assaulting hotel staff in Uganda. He claims that one of the hotel staff hates Jesus before displaying an unchristian-like God complex of his own.
You obey what I say. I don't obey you. You understand? Jesus is not going to tolerate me. Yeah, feel me. Uganda. I've come to love Uganda. I've come to help Uganda. But Uganda hates Jesus through this son. You understand me? Look at me. Look at Christ who died for you. Look at me. Look at Christ who died for you. Look at Christ.
No fight.
No.
Excuse.
No excuse. No excuse.
No excuse.
No.
Excuse.
Jesus is tired.
Yes.
Jesus is tired of your disobedience.
Yes, but
Feel me. Jesus is tired of your obedience, disobedience.
Calm down.
He's tired. No. You calm up. I don't calm down.
Yes.
You calm up.
Making the situation far worse, the American uses racial slurs on multiple occasions, hits the hotel workers, and threatens to knock their life out. This demon should be exorcised from Uganda, if he hasn't been already.
Thought there were some stupid people in the world, and then there's this. 3 rows of cars. Middle row, completely blocked in.
Snowdonia National Park in Wales, UK attracts plenty of tourists for its scenic views and challenging hiking conditions. Unfortunately, that influx of visitors in recent years means that even if you find a place to park, you might not be able to get out of the parking spot when you return to your car later.
Ходи, может, ему это не нравится? Дотронься, что ты, он же к тебе тянется.
Many travelers visit Phuket in Thailand with the hopes of meeting or riding an elephant. This lady chose the wrong time to disturb a baby elephant while it was eating though, and it gave her a not-so-friendly reminder to keep her distance in the future. Luckily, she didn't sustain any major injuries and hopefully learned a valuable lesson. Thanks to international travel, Karens are everywhere. This one was visiting an island in the Caribbean and didn't like the fact that some local kids were running around on the beach. Nothing was going to stop her from lying down and sunbathing. Thankfully, she wasn't going to stop them from practicing the relay race either. Just because you're on a holiday, it doesn't give you the right to swim wherever you like. In 2024, two rude tourists bathed in the waters of the monumental cemetery of San Michael in Venice. Filmed by the Bermuda citizens, the pair now face a hefty fine and expulsion from the city for up to 5 years.
Royalton. One more up. One more up. The elevator gets stuck. I'm recording this and I'm posting this. One more up. You put the fire alarm? Pull it. Yeah, we have to pull the fire alarm. Pull it. Pull every fire alarm possible. Pull it. If you see fire alarm, pull it. Pull every fire alarm. Go, break it. There's no cameras, right?
A Canadian family were on vacation when their children became stuck in an elevator. Rather than stay calm and wait for help, they ran around the hotel with the aim of setting off every fire alarm.
This is how we have to do it. Because they're gonna break it. They're gonna break it. Who cares? Who cares? They're not doing nothing. Look at them. Look, he's just standing there. Go.
Be careful, people. People, be careful. Maintenance is coming. You might hurt them when you do this.
They're up. Or they're right there.
Wait, be careful. Maintenance are coming. Watch your feet. Maintenance are coming to take care of this.
They're right here.
Yeah, they are there.
Right. Yeah.
Where they are, but maintenance will be able to open it. Yeah, they should be able.
So where are they?
When that quest proved unsuccessful, they returned to the elevator and proceeded to force the doors open, damaging the elevator in the process. I guess the elevators in Canada are just built different, eh?
It is requested that all visitors remain behind the changing rails at all times.
Arlington is one of 2 national cemeteries watched over by the United States Army. It is a place for honor and respect, not somewhere to take selfies. It appears this woman didn't get the memo. After ignoring the "do not cross" signs and strolling across the tomb of the unknown soldier, she was told in no uncertain terms to get back. No doubt her next selfie turned out to be a little red-faced. This female tourist had a different kind of experience to many who visit India. She seems intent on annoying the locals by any means necessary, grabbing onto the back of a passing scooter and refusing to let one man leave the religious site. We don't have much context, but many people believe she was either drunk or under the influence of some kind of narcotic. Very strange. This disrespectful couple were spotted wasting holy water at a sacred religious site in Bali. Whether they knew it was holy water or not is up for debate, but their actions were trashy regardless.
Yeah.
2018, a tourist from Argentina made things a whole lot worse for himself by attempting to bribe a Chilean police officer. After being given a summons to appear in court, presumably for a driving offense, he thought he could wriggle his way out of it by slipping the officer 10 million Chilean pesos, the equivalent of around $10,000.
¿Las manos atrás? Esto acá en Chile es un delito, esto se llama cohecho, ¿ya? Acá está prohibido sobornar a un funcionario carabinero, señor. Vengo de 156 Hernández.
Adelante con el 5.
Romeo, un carro, por favor, en
Sadly for him, the bribe attempt was caught on camera and this officer was incorruptible. Oops.
Extranjeros quisieron cerrar mi restaurante por tocar música mexicana.
Imagine going to Mexico and complaining about a restaurant playing Mexican music. Unbelievably, this is the headache facing the owner of Gabby's restaurant in Puerto Vallarta, a restaurant that has existed in the city since 1989. Foreigners who have recently moved into the area have complained about the music and even filed a court case in an attempt to get Gabby's closed down. This has angered locals, including immigrants who have been living in the city for years.
They think that just because they paid a few million for a condo that they can start dictating what's happening. Come sign our petition to get these gringos out.
A petition has been signed to keep the restaurant alive, but the court case is still ongoing. In 2022, an American couple visiting Rome hired electric scooters to get around in the city, but were filmed dragging them down the Spanish Steps. In frustration, the woman also threw her scooter, causing 25,000 euros or $27,000 worth of damages. Both tourists got off pretty lightly, with only a 400 euro fine each, and they were banned from returning to the site for 6 months. Going on safari is not always as magical or romantic as it may seem. These wildlife observers were spotted honking their horns and harassing elephants in order to move them away from the road. When that failed to work, a flashbang grenade was deployed, frightening the elephants and forcing them back into the trees. It's such a shame that the elephants are treated this way in their own territory, especially by people who are profiting from their existence. This woman let the intrusive thoughts win while visiting Stonehenge in England. Despite a fence plus multiple warnings from signs and a worker telling her not to touch the stones, she proceeded anyway and just had to place her hands on the prehistoric structure. How selfish and entitled can this person be?
Right, video someone's death. You realize this, right?
I know.
This is how you die at the Grand Canyon.
You know what? I'm a risk taker. But not even I would do that shit. You know what I mean? It's just...
They went on top of that thing right there.
What?
I'm telling you, you can't climb that. That's bigger than you think it is.
That big rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy...
This guy's gonna die. Oh, let's jump. I can get up there. I have a really big.
Are you even allowed to do that?
What's he doing?
Here's another video that demonstrates why a dozen people fall to their deaths at the Grand Canyon every year. Luckily, the two young men in this clip were not part of that statistic, but they were certainly living on the edge. One guy makes his way across the canyon's edge while onlookers wonder how the boys got down there in the first place and whether they'll make it out alive.
I'm thinking that's not really a good idea.
I'm thinking that's like the worst idea of the century.
That's what we said. What is he doing? He's going to try to grab onto that tree to pull himself up there? Is he an idiot?
Yes, that's what he's going to do. He's taking his coat off. Oh my God, he's going to die.
He is going to do it, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Oh my God! I see somebody getting arrested in the really near future.
I see.
When the young daredevil comes to a gap on the rocks, he takes a death-defying leap. Thankfully, this kid has mountain goat blood, but as the woman watching predicts, he could soon have a criminal record too. This next adrenaline junkie has clearly played too much Assassin's Creed. In 2023, he was filmed leaping from the roof of a building into a canal in Venice. The clip was uploaded to a Facebook page titled "Venice is not Disneyland," and locals, including the mayor of Venice, Luigi Brugnaro, were not impressed.
Sì, a questo proprio bisognerebbe dargli la patente dello stupido. Lo dico perché poi se pubblicherà sta roba sui social, lui e il suo compare, adesso stiamo cercando di identificarli. Ho mandato una pattuglia a vedere se per caso come è fatto andare sul tetto. Sono veri delinquenti che non si rendono conto del pericolo che creano alla città. Pensate se passa una barca sotto.
He called the act stupid and said more needed to be done to stop the spat of parkour lovers from using Venice as a playground.
Avete intenzione di denunciarlo?
Ma sicuro, denunciarlo più che possiamo, è che la legge è quella che è, insomma, cioè, purtroppo sono sempre denunce a piede libero.
Tourists jumping into rivers and canals is more of a problem than you might think. One traveler was lucky to escape without injury in 2022 after jumping from a bridge right in front of a passing boat. Chichen Itza is one of the most visited archaeological sites in Mexico. It's pretty obvious by the fence that surrounds it that you're not supposed to climb up it. Yet, one tourist claims they did so by mistake in 2023. When he finally came down, he was berated by locals and hit over the head with a big stick. Maybe that'll knock some sense into him. If you're planning on visiting Venice, you should know that diving into the canals is prohibited, although it's highly likely that you'll see some idiot tourist doing it. In 2020, 2 such tourists were spotted throwing themselves into the Grand Canal and swimming under the Rialto Bridge. This is especially dumb and dangerous because it's one of the busiest stretches of water in Venice where boats and ferries regularly pass through.
Goldon, guardate, Goldon, bravo. Anche 2 Goldon, altro. 2 Goldon. Goldon. Hi, how are you, Goldon? Welcome, Goldon.
No! What the fuck?
Got out of water a long time ago.
Yeah.
An Irishman was out for a ride on his horse in the Wicklow Mountains when he came across a dehydrated and disoriented American tourist. The panicked woman claims she has been lost for hours without water, having underestimated the heat and landscape of Ireland in the summer.
To the Hellfire Club still?
Yeah, you just...
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You have to go that way to go home.
I'm gonna cry.
Sadly for her, the rider has no water either, but he does point her in the right direction. I suppose he could have given her a ride, but you gotta love that Irish humor. An estimated 4,800 bison roam the Yellowstone National Park in America, which is visited by 4 to 5 million tourists each year. Despite the rules of the park stating visitors should get no closer than 75 feet to the wildlife, some people just can't resist. This woman was lucky that the huge bison she was taking selfies with, a very stupid idea by the way, was in a good mood. But another group were not so lucky. Thinking she could pet a bison, another woman was shaken off and narrowly escaped being gored. Handling a baby bison is also asking for trouble, but still, it didn't stop one man from having a go. Respect wildlife, people. This Chinese tourist had no respect for the deer at Nara Park in Japan. He attempts to grab a baby deer, thinking he's in a live-action version of Bambi, but the fawn wants nothing to do with him. Not only was he rejected by the deer, but the people who live in Nara now also want nothing to do with him, at least according to the comments on the video. In the next edition of Some Animals Are Not Pets, a dumb tourist attempts to pet a wild lion. It goes just about as well as you'd expect, with the lion baring its teeth and growling at the man, offended that a tourist dare lay its hands on him. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to keep that window closed, buddy. Keeping your hands to yourself is a good rule of thumb when it comes to nature. This clueless tourist dipped their hand into a hot spring at Yellowstone National Park, which is illegal, by the way, only to discover that it was much hotter than she expected.
Stupid.
I know. Oh my God.
In this case, the water was 174 degrees Fahrenheit, or around 79 degrees Celsius. You could say that she was caught red-handed. There's a tradition in Greece that involves smashing large clay pots by throwing them out of balconies during Easter. These tourists arrived just in time for the celebration and couldn't have been any closer to the action. Heads up!
Relax. I'm coming to give you the money. Relax yourself. Understand? But you, I know it's acting fucking ass. Let me tell you something. Look, let me tell you something. I'm trying to be reasonable. Y'all, I asked you several times. Let me outside. And now I'm trying to get money. You don't know what I'm going outside for. Why were you trying to hold me hostage? Did I get any service done?
Things got a little heated at a nail salon in Bali in 2023 when two tourists refused to pay for their treatment. One of the women claimed she was trying to exit the store to get some extra money when the employee wouldn't allow her to leave. Instead of taking it out in a calm manner, the woman assaulted the employee, causing bruises to their hands and stomach.
Right? Because now I'm getting irritated. I don't want you. She's not the customer. I am. Why won't you let her leave?
The two tourists, identified as a woman from the UK and another from the US, were later stopped by immigration at the airport and handed over to the police for further questioning.
His gun is jammed. Can you see the knife on top of it? He can't shoot.
Being a member of the Queen's Guard must be tough. Not only do you have to stay vigilant while wearing a silly costume, but you also have to deal with annoying tourists.
Get back from the Queen's Guard!
Mind you, you are allowed to scare the tourists and point your gun at them if they get too close, as this tourist found out in 2015.
L'hai fatto? Cazzo che l'ho fatto.
Here's yet another tourist incident that took place at the Rialto Bridge in Venice. If you're thinking of copying this idiot, just remember there's a lot of pollution, including sewage, in that water. In 2020, a Chinese national was arrested after trespassing at a naval station in Key West, Florida, and taking pictures of military installations. According to reports, he disobeyed orders not to take photos, but his lawyer says he was unaware that he was trespassing and was simply there to take photos of the sunrise. He was the fourth Chinese national to be caught trespassing on the base. Suspicious.
You touch me! You don't touch me! What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? I heard what you said.
When they're not causing trouble by jumping in the water, tourists in Venice are making a scene by shouting at restaurant workers. This woman was filmed yelling at a manager who tried to tempt her to dine at his establishment. According to the uploader, the lady said no and then started screaming at him, which is when they started recording. Is anyone else thinking of canceling their trip to Italy? I know I am. Many people travel to see the sights and experience different cultures. Tourists who attend this sacred ceremony in Bali were treated to a different kind of spectacle. Midway through the show, a naked woman climbed the stage where the dancers were performing and ascended the stairs before barging through the golden doors. This was definitely not part of the script, but the show must go on. And the ceremony continued while the woman was escorted back to the audience where she began praying in the nude. A very bizarre sight which some commentators say was the result of mental illness, while others suspect that the woman was on some type of drug. The city of Kyoto in Japan is famous for its traditions, but some things are relatively new, like the signs which beg tourists not to bother locals by shoving cameras in their faces. Those signs exist in large part thanks to this woman. This clip of a rude tourist acting like an amateur paparazzi, harassing a geisha and obstructing her in the street went viral in 2024. It also resulted in a ban on tourists from parts of the geisha district in Kyoto.
عشان كذي اللي ابغى يتشكون من السياح. You can't do that. شوفوا شوفوا شوفوا. You can't do that. Oh my goodness. That's so rude.
Again, some inconsiderate tourists caught spoiling the travel experience for the rest of us. Shameful. Another problem created by tourism is the trash that tourists create, and I'm not just talking about their Instagram posts. This upsetting clip shows an elephant chowing down on a plastic bag that was left behind by tourists. Hopefully, it passed through without incident, but it could cause the elephant some serious health issues. If you're visiting another country, please clean up after yourself. Another pro tip to keep in mind while traveling is to respect the local way of life. You may not agree with certain laws or customs, but you should at least try to abide by them. A British woman made headlines for all the wrong reasons in 2019 when she was filmed hurling abuse at a Moroccan chicken seller in Tangier. She didn't like the fact that he kept his birds in a cage, despite it being a very common practice there. After yelling insults at the man, the woman tries breaking into the chicken cage in an attempt to set it free. When the chicken trader stops her, she bites his hand and tries to push him away. Who's the animal here?
She'll get arrested.
Yeah, I know.
She don't want to get arrested out here, I'll tell you. They don't treat you very lightly.
Taking his shoes off.
We'd all like an upgrade, love. I'd like a sweet.
No matter how badly you fancy a swim while on holiday, if the pool is closed, it's closed. This woman refused to grasp that concept while taking a dip at her hotel in the Canary Islands. Even when asked to get out by hotel staff, she refused, resulting in the police being called.
Stupid cow. She's silly, isn't she? Look. It's not.
Out by her.
That is. She deserves that.
Still, she wouldn't vacate the pool and had to be fished out by the officers. Imagine being arrested for not getting out of the swimming pool and having to think about that while sitting in a jail cell. Crazy. These dumb tours destroyed millions of years worth of nature's work in a matter of seconds. In April 2024, the two men were captured on film destroying ancient rock formations at Lake Mead in America.
He's gonna fall.
The formations are believed to have been formed over time out of 140 million year old sand dunes, and the damage these two knuckleheads did is irreversible.
Why would you even do something like this? Like why on earth would you do this to this area that's so beautiful? It's one of my favorite places in the park, and they're up there just destroying it. I don't understand that.
The last we heard, the park rangers were appealing to the public to identify these two idiots who, if caught, could face federal charges, jail time, or large fines.
If you're out of cell phone range or you just don't know the number, at least try to capture, if you can, if it's safe, some kind of video or photo of the activity taking place. You don't have to engage people. Many people don't feel safe engaging others out there, and that's okay. It's really important for you just to let us know.
And they're upset because we're riding on a bridge just like everybody else.
That's TikTok, right? That's so funny. That's so funny. He's recording us?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God.
In 2024, a group of American tourists were confronted by Italian locals for writing their names on a 2,000-year-old bridge. The group claimed they were being targeted because of their race, but nothing racist was said, and the Italians were understandably upset about their hometown architecture being defaced.
Leave us alone. Come on. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. No. No. Leave me alone. No. No. Leave us alone.
The fact that these tourists could not accept that they were in the wrong is both baffling and infuriating.
How about Sherlock?
Right, ladies. Yeah, so these soldiers serve their country, all right? They take their job seriously. They are responsible for protection of this facility. They are not an object of ridicule. I appreciate you having fun. He's not having fun. He's got a long day.
Another day in London, and another group of tourists trying to get a rise out of the King's Guard. In this instance, though, an armed police officer intervenes and gives the group a dressing down, explaining very clearly and eloquently that the guard is just doing his job, and that the royal protectors don't appreciate being the subject of ridicule.
They are not an object of ridicule. I appreciate you having fun. He's not having fun. He's got a long day. There's a lot of hours he's got to do. It is tiring, exhausting. You're taking the piss out of him. All right? We do not appreciate that. I will ask you to leave the facility. All right?
Way to keep calm and carry on. In case you were wondering, members of the King's Guard do speak for themselves when necessary. Say, for example, a tourist has the nerve to stand in his box. He will order them to get out, sharpish. You don't want to get yelled at like this woman.
These people just doing this way. See, we are here and people are sick. Here, who can help them? And these people just tell them this. So I'm just saying.
A bizarre event unfolded at the hostel in Stockholm, Sweden in 2018. A Chinese family arrived at the hostel a day before their booking and refused to leave despite the hostel being fully booked. Eventually, police were called to remove them, but the family claims they were sworn at and beat by the officers. One of the family members also said they were left near a graveyard across the city in temperatures lower than 10 degrees Celsius. Initially, the family received messages of support from the public, but when the footage of the incident emerged, public sentiment changed. The footage showed the Chinese family throwing themselves on the ground and shouting phrases like, "This is killing," and "Save me." Yet, there was no evidence of any swearing or violence from the police. People have since accused the family of being unreasonable and acting like giant babies, but the Chinese government took it seriously and issued a travel warning to its citizens, telling them to be cautious while traveling in Sweden. Weird. This tourist not only put his own life in danger by scaling a rocky cliff face in nothing but his swimming trunks, but he also disturbed a nesting colony of black nudies, a type of seabird. It's not clear whether he wanted a better look at the birds or was thinking about jumping into the ocean, but either way, his actions were stupid and shouldn't be replicated. This next clip may seem like a silly mistake by some dumb tourist at a beach, but it could have been much more serious, even fatal. Black Sand Beach in Iceland is notoriously dangerous due to sneaker waves, which regularly drag people out to sea, never to be seen again. As indicated by their name, the sneaker waves appear small and unassuming, but they're incredibly powerful. You should never turn your back on them or get close enough to where you can no longer see footprints in the sand. Remember, it's not worth getting that photo or video for the gram if you won't be alive to see it. These tourists in Japan have little excuse for trespassing on a historic site. The sign is obvious and it's written in multiple languages. No wonder the Japanese have been cracking down on tourism lately, even though it brings so much needed money to an economy in decline.
Never.
口罩，口罩，口罩，
为什么东西破的东西？
口罩戴起。
来来来 ，You lucky man.
口罩
You lucky.
口罩，口罩戴起。
In 2024, a video was circulated that appeared to show a British man getting beaten up in China for refusing to wear a mask. However, after a bit of Reddit detective work, it appears as though the man had passed a COVID test and was trying to get back into his home when he was refused entry by a guard. After arguing with the guard, since Chinese nationals were being allowed in and he wasn't, other citizens jumped in and began assaulting the Brit. Neighbors came to the British guy's defense, but he soon lashed out and was restrained. Thank God those crazy times are over.
Show me your ready.
This American woman was on holiday in the Caribbean but didn't like the hotel's choice of music. In typical Karen style, she approached the DJ and demanded they change it. To her shock, the manager was not willing to spoil the party for everyone else. After arguing some more and showing off some questionable dance moves, Karen then tries to unplug the music herself. She fails, unsurprisingly, and is forced to do the walk of shame much to everyone else's amusement.